Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Safety and Health Induction Program Laboratory of Faculty of Industrial Sciences and Technology, FSTI. This is Occupational Safety and Health Policy. University Malaysia Pahang, UMP is committed to providing a sustainably safe and healthy environment for its staff, students and interested parties. UMP will proactively prevent work-related injuries and ill health by eliminating hazards and reducing OSH risks. Comply with all relevant legal requirements and other requirements, communicate OSH information to the staff, students and interested parties as and when necessary, consult and encourage participation from the staff, students and interested parties in any matters related to OSH. Inculcate proactive safety culture among the staff, students and interested parties. Continually improve the implementation of the Occupational Safety and Health Management System.
Then we move to FIST Occupational Safety and Health Committee 2024 Organizational Charts.
It's divided to several important units, which is Risk Management and Incident Investigation Unit, Legislation, Schedule Waste and Chemical Unit, Emergency Response Teams, Laboratory and Management Building Area, Unit, and finally Promotion, Training and Audit Unit. This is Organization Chart of Emergency Response Team, ERT FSTI Laboratory. The members of ERT Lab involving technical staff. ERT consists several division or function like Incident Commander, Emergency Coordinator, Historian, Building Marshal, Floor Warden, Traffic Controllers, First Aiders and Firefighters. Each units have their own duty or function in emergency situation. Meanwhile, this organization chart for ERT at Block A1, FSTI Management Building. Let's look at this. It's show list of FSTI Technical STAF. Our head of technical, KT, is Dr. Kamrul Fakir Kamaruddin. KT will be assisted by technical staff consists of Science Officer and Assistant Science Officer. As you can see, each technical STAF have own lab, so, if you need any assistant about particular lab, you can contact them directly. Let's look at this layout of our lab, FSTI Lab located at Taman Technology in Vivasi, TTI. In TTA area, there are laboratories from the other faculties or PTJ. That's why it's very important to our students to identify exactly which one lab belong to FSTI. This layout show more detail of FSTI laboratories. Basically, all lab in this layout belong to FSTI except Central Laboratory. In emergency situation, if you hear the emergency bell ringing or ERT members give an order to evacuate the lab area, you must walk calm and orderly to assembly point No. 15. Do you know where assembly point number 15? Let's watch this video. You may expose to these types of hazards while doing the research. Physical hazard, chemical hazard, biological hazard, ergonomic hazard, and psychosocial hazard. It's so important for all researchers to identify the hazard based on the nature of their research, then we'll able to identify control measures to eliminate or reduce the risk of the hazard. This is OSH Info Center FSTI. It's an initiative method how to communicate and share information on safety and health with FSTI community. You can click the link or scan the QR code to access it. OSH Info Center FSTI is divided into several pages, which are Page OSH Info and Video Safety. For more detail, please watch this video. Factors contributing to how hazards impact a workplace and the people in the laboratory, such as material, human factors, equipment, method, and environment. And this hazard pictogram. You may see these pictograms on the labeling of the chemical container, SDS, or in the chemical storage area. Very important to know the definition of a pictogram, thus we are able to know what kind of hazard or danger we're dealing with. This is what you must do when accessing FSTI laboratories. Know the potential hazards of the materials used in the laboratory. Review the safety data sheet, SDS, and container label prior to using a chemical. Know the location of safety equipment such as emergency showers, eye washes, fire extinguishers, fire alarms, spill kits, and first aid kits. Review emergency procedures to ensure that necessary supplies and equipment for spill response and other accidents are available. Practice 5S to minimize unsafe work conditions such as obstructed exits and safety equipment, cluttered benches and hoods, and accumulated chemical waste. Wear personal protective equipment when working with chemicals. This includes eye protection, lab coat, gloves, and appropriate foot protection, no sandals. Gloves should be made of a material known to be resistant to permeation by the chemical in use. Before start with experiment, please refer to equipment SOP attached to each equipment. There are HIRIC file located nearby for student to access any associated hazard and existing control measure related to lab/experiment activity. Label and store chemicals properly. All chemical containers should be labeled to identify the container contents, no abbreviations or formulas, and hazard information. Chemicals should be stored by hazard groups and chemical compatibilities. Use fume hoods when processes or experiments may result in the release of toxic or flammable vapors, fumes, or dust. Whereas this is what you are prohibited or not allowed to do in our laboratories. Eat, drink, chew gum, or apply cosmetics in areas where chemicals are used and stored. Perform the unauthorized experiment. Store food in laboratory freezer or ovens. Drink water from laboratory water sources. Use laboratory glassware to prepare or consume food. Taste chemicals. Not recommend smelling the chemical. Pipette or transfer chemicals or solution by mouth. Besides the university dress code rules that you need to abide by, there is also compulsory general personal protection equipment, PPE, needed to wear before entering our analysis laboratories, like a lab coat and fully covered shoes or safety shoes. Then there are add-on PPE needed to apply according to the specific hazard of activity, like safety goggles, gloves, nitrile, chemical-resistant or heat-resistant glove, and face masks like N95 or chemical face mask such as half-piece respirator with 6057 cartridges. Warning: dress code rules and PPE rules are compulsory to abide although you enter the lab for non-lab work purposes. For chemical labeling, compulsory to abide by Regulation USEC 2000. Thus, if you transfer chemicals to a secondary container, you are compulsory to relabel the secondary container according to USEC 2000. This is an example of relabeling sticker that we had provided. You can request from FSTI Technical Office for this label sticker. For experiment setup for a long period, you need to show this attachment near the experiment setup location. It's very important to us to take emergency action if something wrong happens to that experiment. These are the types of safety equipment in our laboratory. But not all our labs have all of this equipment in one place. It's so important to you to identify what and where the emergency equipment is for that lab. This is the layout location of emergency equipment in our lab area. This is the guideline code for using a fire extinguisher, PASS. Remember, the fire extinguisher is efficient to handle small burning situations, and you need be attended fire extinguisher training before using it. These are provided chemical waste containers in our laboratory. Warning: make sure to dispose of your chemical waste in the right container to prevent any unpredictable reaction. If you notice these containers are full, please inform the technical staff and they will replace them with a new one. Sharp component must be thrown to special container, yellow bin. Don't throw it into the main domestic dustbin or sink. All broken glassware must be placed in the disposal plastic box. This is the hierarchy of controls for the hazard. Elimination like remove the hazard, substitution like replacing the hazard to less hazardous, engineering control like isolating the hazard such as using fume hood, administrative control like changing the way people work, following SOP and finally applying PPE. This is a sample picture of an example of incident. Remember, prevention is better than cure and we hope there is no incident occurring in our laboratories. Warning! Please don't hide any accident happening to you. The incident involving injuries, illness, property damages and near misses must be reported within 24 hours. If an incident occurs in our lab, you must report it to the lab instructor, technical staff, or lecturer involved in the subject or experiment. 0943150005 is the emergency hotline number for UMP Paya Besar and UMP Pekin. Please save this number and set it as an emergency contact list on your smartphone. Generally, you can contact this number if any emergency occurs to you in UMP campus's area. This hotline number it's not only limited to lab emergencies but it's also including those involving criminal activity.
Now, let's take a look on how to properly use a safety shower and eye wash.
Never touch your eyes while in the lab, as your hands may be contaminated with a chemical. In the event that a chemical or hazardous liquid does get into your eyes, proceed immediately to the nearest eye wash station. It may be difficult to see, so ask someone for help. Most eye wash stations have a lever or handle to activate the water flow. Activate the water flow and place your eyes directly in the water. You will need to hold your eyelids open and let the water wash your eyes for 15 minutes. It will not be comfortable to hold your eyes open in the water for that long, but it is necessary to flush out the hazardous material, and it is well worth it to save your eyes. Have someone call security and check the SDS for the material that was splashed in your eyes. Ensure that security documents the incident with an incident report afterward. Consult a doctor if any irritation or ill effects remain after 15 minutes of flushing. If a chemical spill occurs over a large portion of the body, it will be necessary to use the safety shower. Move immediately to the shower and begin removing contaminated clothing. If you are in the lab with someone who needs to use the shower, assist them. Let the water flow for 15 minutes to fully rinse your skin to remove the hazardous material. Now is not the time for modesty. You will want to remove all the hazardous material from your body. Have someone check the SDS to determine if any further action is required based on the chemical or hazardous material.
You are compulsory to submit this attendance at the end of the briefing session. Please click the link below or scan the QR code. That is our briefing. Thank you for your attention. We hope your research will be successful and keep safe.